Here are the exercises I gave in one of my classes at the Ukulele Festival Scotland 2017. This is to get independence of fingers. So you put all the fingers on the second string, one finger per fret. Okay, thumb at the back, not up here. And with this hand I'm just damping the strings. Now, I'm not pressing the strings down, it's just a very light touch. You can pull the ukulele away, it's very light. So I've removed downward pressure from this exercise. Right, first thing to do is start tapping your first finger. We'll do this for about 10 seconds. And then the second finger. You do that for 10 seconds. I'm going to cut it short just now. This finger for 10 seconds. It's less independent than the others. And this finger also for 10 seconds. That was easy. Now it gets a little bit harder. 1 and 3 alternating. And 2 and 4. Each of these you do for about 10 seconds. 3 and 4. Okay, no problem. Now the next exercise, the first one was called the bounce because the fingers are bouncing. The next one is called the outer reaches. You start from the same position and you reach to the fourth string and then the first. You just do that for about 10 seconds, quite easy. And then it gets harder. Second finger, again for 10 seconds or so. Third finger, okay. I don't want to see your arm moving in any way. It's purely the finger that's moving. No arm movement at all. And finally pinky. A lot of times I see people doing this with the whole hand moving, but it's just the finger. Again for 10 seconds. It gets harder. Now we have fingers 1 and 3 simultaneously in opposite directions, so 1 and 3 like this. Again, no arm movement, and you'll be doing that for 10 seconds. You can do it very slowly to start with, but eventually try and speed it up. Then 2 and 4, see that? Again about 10 seconds, and finally 3 and 4. Again, no arm movement to get that pinky over, little finger over. Okay, that's called the outer reaches. You could try the spider, which you'll find in one of my books, the technical fingerstyle books, studies. Here we have fingers 1 and 3, okay. 2 there, 4 there. 1, 3, 2, 4. So that, I'll start that again. If I count them from the first string, I have finger 1, finger 3, finger 2, 4 and 2, finger 3 and 1, finger 2, and finger 4. And so once you get that practiced, you can do this. And as you crawl up the fretboard with it, it begins to look like a spider crawling over. Don't like spiders. Okay, one final exercise is called pressure drop, where we're taking a note. I'm going to take this note, 3rd string, 2nd fret, and I'm not going to press down, but I'm going to play it with the other hand, and I get a muffled sound. Now I'm going to add more and more pressure until I get an even note. There. And then I'm going to come away to my starting place slowly. I'll do it again. Now it's hardly any pressure at all, I think you'll find. You can do it with any note, anywhere, any finger. And it's very, very little pressure is needed to press a string down onto a fret. You can do it with chords. If I'm doing a G major chord, I'll just take those 3 notes with the other hand, thumb, index and middle on these 3 strings, and just start without any pressure, slowly add it, almost straight away, and then come off again. There's hardly any pressures needed to play these chords, as long as your ukulele is set up correctly and the action, that's the height of the string above the fret, is not too high, especially in this first position. A lot of cheaper ukuleles, they cut costs by not setting them up properly. So the nut could be too high, making it hard to press down at the first fret. So you can get that changed though. If you take it to your local guitar or ukulele store, they might do that for you. But I have a reasonably low action. It's not very low, it's not very high either, it's kind of middling. So very little pressure is needed. Now if I stiffen my fingers and try and wiggle them, it's quite hard to do. And a lot of people have that problem when they're changing from one chord to the next. They put too much pressure on the chord, squeezing tight, and when they have to go to the next chord, they only get rid of a little bit of that pressure. They're still retaining a lot in their fingers as they go to another chord. And it's really hard to play that way, constantly in tension in your hand. So the ideal is for every finger to be independent, and that's what these exercises are for, but also that you only ever use the minimum pressure that's needed, and it's a lot less than you think it is, really. I think most of us use about 100 times the amount of pressure we actually need. So you've got to teach the brain to tell the fingers to lighten up. The second important part of that pressure drop thing is coming backwards from the note to the starting point, and that is where you're teaching the brain to relax after every, teaching the brain to tell the fingers to relax after every note. So we want to get rid of the tension, any tension that we induced by fretting a note. We want to get rid of that before we move to the next position. So complete independence and the minimum pressure, and each finger being programmed to relax after the note. That's the ideal. That's what you're looking for. Good luck.